As much as I was afraid that this might be the light of someone's torch searching for me because of my somewhat illegal camping spot on the first night on Norderney, this is the island's lighthouse, built in 1874. 3 flashes, 2.8 seconds apart, every 12 seconds. For anyone interested in golf and anywhere near the view range of this lighthouse, I'd recommend taking the ferry to the island and jumping the fence to the golf course. Because it really is quite something. Playing over wonderful natural dunes land, Norderney has all the best of links golf. Wide fairways such as here on the first, and sometimes greens on the top of dunes that are very hard and awkward to approach. But then also teeing grounds high up on the dunes that make them even more exposed to the wind, meaning that controlling a ball flight is even more mandatory. The greens are very smooth surfaces, and some of the surroundings provide real interesting challenges. The par 3s are all beautiful, but the pick of the lot would be the 5th hole here. Playing downhill towards another green nestled in the dunes, but with a very tricky ridge in front of the green that either has to be carried with spin or you hit a low shot that runs up. In other places, such as here on the par 5 4th hole, there's many blind shots. And while I was recording a video of every shot in one round and I was actually going quite well, I lost 2 balls here in what I thought would be the middle of the fairway. I don't know if a seagull maybe just picked it up. The rabbits took it away. Yep, sure. Well, that sounds kind of unlikely, and I guess I probably just searched for the traces in the wrong places. One thing I noticed is that I won't be having the time to edit these kinds of videos in full on the journey. But that means once I come back in September, I have enough footage left for the whole winter until perhaps I can go traveling again. It was a really nice couple of golfing days here, even though I didn't quite get the drone footage because the sun just kept almost coming out. But I remember the place and I hope to be back sometime. Meanwhile, the island of Norderney itself was a bit of a step down in terms of charm and character from the wonderful island of Fano. It's a popular holiday resort, like all of Germany's and Netherlands' North Sea islands. And of course, the nature in the dunes land is so spectacular that you can't blame anyone for going there. There is just something to this North Sea nature here. Waves coming and going, the wind blowing dunes from one place to another. Nothing's ever the same from one day to the other. And the castles you build today might just be washed away tomorrow. So with this in mind, I spent my days on the campground, thinking about where I would go next. If I'd stay on Continental Europe with my car, trying to find the places that I thought might not be there, or if I go to Ireland and do something that's much closer to the idea I originally had. And at some point I knew there's only one way to go. But first, of course, I had to get back to mainland, get a couple of things sorted, and organize my trip. Meanwhile, I visited my sister in Hamburg, and then attended my brother's bachelor party, which didn't end up quite as idyllic as these pictures from Hamburg. So with a lot of traveling in my back and a bit of anxiety about what it would be like in Ireland, and also some doubt about this all, I boarded the plane to Ireland. In that mood I was in, I just didn't think that Dublin would be a good idea for 1 or 2 days, and then it might just be a little too much. So I went straight to the west coast, to Galway. Galway and Ireland treated me with a very friendly and sunny welcome. Fáilte, as they say. Galway is a student town that also gets a lot of travelers and is located beautifully on Galway Bay. During the days I was there, they actually had the Galway horse races going on, which I hadn't heard before. But they're some of the most popular horse races in Ireland, so usually the whole streets are just one big party. But considering the times we're in, it was still quite lively. In the end, I did come to Galway for another reason, and that had nothing to do with football, but much more with my golf clubs, which once again I shared a bed with here in my hostel bed. So this is a picture of me as a 6-year-old playing golf for the first time. My whole family and I went on a trip to Galway that year and just randomly started playing golf at a pitch and putt. So after posting this pic, I got the idea that I couldn't believe I didn't get before. I need to search for this place. I need to know the place where I learned to play golf. So the next day I went off and searched the city's pitch and putt places. This here was Taylor's Hill Pitch and Putt, and while it was a very charming place, which has been run for the past 40 years straight by a now 81-year-old man who was very proud to say that all of his 9 grandchildren sometimes help out on the course. It was a very nice place, but it was quite obvious that this wasn't the place I was looking for. There were just too many trees here, as much fun as it was. So I went to search further and found a place in Mellow's Pitch and Putt on the southeast that definitely came a lot closer to the place I was looking for. Now, there's a lot of things that suggest that this could have been the place. It's close to the ocean, there's hardly any vegetation. There's these yellow flowers and a fence that looks quite similar. But on the other hand, on the picture you can't see anything in the background, and here you'd have the city in the background from where that photo would be taken. And also my dad said that while no one remembers the name of the pitch and putt, which is why I have to search for it, he doesn't think we went up north into the city because we were staying on the south side of Galway Bay.
To the left, where let's see. Yeah, it's all grown over now. And I would say, it was at the edge of the bay, but I don't know if there was any holes like that. I don't remember a hole like that when you were teeing off the side.
Now, the guy running the place here got very invested with the challenge. There's Taylor's Hill Pitch and Putt, which is definitely not it. And there's Mellow's Pitch and Putt, which comes close to the place, but also it's unlikely we went up north, and the fences and the tee markers just looked a bit different. By the way, if you recognize those tee markers and know which place it is, please let me know. The orange circle is Curragh Green, which is a place that is gone. Now, this is where we stayed in 1999, and it seems unlikely we went up north, so Doolin Pitch and Putt would be the only place left. Now the problem is I won't get to Doolin until the end of August, because my route is now taking me west and north. So we probably can't be sure if this was the place. And in the end I just had to go by feeling, and I kind of don't think this was it. So at this point in time, the only thing we can say is that there's no hard evidence. At this point we gotta keep investigating the case. However, I also realized what was more important during my 3 nights in Galway. I really could arrive there and met so many lovely people. For all those times I've been and I will be alone on this journey, I can only do it with the islands of just basic human contact and friendly people. So, speaking about islands, I was charged up and on the road again, looking for a place called Connemara Isles Golf Club. I had a very warm welcome in Connemara, and it showed itself both from its most beautiful and its most painful sides. I couldn't say it better than John Lynch, the owner of the course and the man behind the project.
Mental attitude and natural forces can change. And I think that's the beauty about the golf here, that people will say that.
There'll be much more from this golf course and the story of this man in the next episode. Meanwhile, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate if you click the subscribe button and perhaps show this video to some of your friends. I hope you all have a good week. I'll be quicker with the next video. So, cheers everyone. What is it? The best pint in the region?
Yeah, in the area. Yeah, we're proud of it. Well worth the visit to Connemara Isles, not for the golf, but for the Guinness. Well, for the GGs, golf and Guinness.